Hey guys, thank you for joining us for ProValueMedia's Market Like a Pro series. My name is Ric Cruz Jr., your digital and print marketing partner, and I will be your moderator for today. Today is a special episode for all our restaurateur friends. We have spoken to many of you, and everyone is looking for solutions to ride out this pandemic. We reached out to different companies that can offer solutions and ideas for your restaurants, and we went ahead and recorded those conversations so you guys can check them out. We also have a couple special restaurateur guests that have shared their personal experience, tips, and advice. We hope that this webisode sparks an idea or hopefully motivates you into trying something different. Thank you and enjoy. Hi guys, this is Ric Cruz from ProValueMedia. I just want to introduce our first guest today. Our guest is Gabriela Fernandez from Lolita's Bistro restaurant. Lolita's Bistro restaurant has been around for 7 years. They do provide a very exquisite and different type of cuisine that they have been around the city here. They always talk about always fresh, never frozen, and they always have some really, really cool meals that you guys can have there. Some of their favorites are the international cuisine that they have, like their veggie quesadillas and their tostadas and the salpicón. They have, the list goes on and on. I've tried a bunch of stuff from there. Everything's very, very tasty. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce Miss Gabriela Fernandez.
Hello. Hi, Rick. Thank you for having me. I'm here.
Perfect. Great. So, hey, I just wanted to, again, I know we've been talking throughout the week how everything's been going on, and I see that you guys have been doing really, really good on social media as far as putting your restaurant out there and seeing what you guys have been doing so far. And I wanted to just reach out to you and number one, applaud your efforts, because I know it's very tough navigating right now the way everyone's doing, trying to do more with less. And that's
totally true.
And I know that you guys are pretty much your type of restaurant is very, very unique. You guys have brunch, and again, an international cuisine with a full bar behind you that I can see behind you. It looks really cool. And what I wanted to mention was obviously because of COVID-19 and the regulations that are going on, you guys have had to adapt very quickly to change your business model to, number one, stay open, and of course, have everybody still working and stuff like that. So one of the things that we saw that you guys are doing is offering to-go service. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Rick. I think all restaurants that have been able to remain open are in the same situation, right? We're doing to-go, and we're trying our very best. And so, yep, that is our situation, our current situation. Everything's to-go. We take everything outside. Clients don't even have to come in the restaurant. We take them outside to their car.
Yeah, I saw that you guys have well, right now, today it's raining, but on sunnier days, you guys have like a canopy and stuff, but you guys are...
Yeah, we try to set up just for convenience and just for looks. We try to set up a little to-go drive-through with a canopy with our logo. So just to try to, anything that we can do right now to try to get the word out so people can see us, that we're here, that we're open, because it is, it's strange times.
It is. It really is. And that's why I was reaching out to you guys, because obviously you guys have been out there doing a bunch of things. And if you don't mind me asking, obviously with all these regulations that are coming out, what is your staff doing to, obviously for public safety and for your safety as well? I know you guys have, everyone's required, your mouth and nose to be covered. What else are you guys doing besides that, just so people can feel a little safer about what's going on?
Definitely. Well, first of all, we have a gallon of antibacterial in each of our entrances. It's outside, so that every time that one of our employees goes outside, he sanitizes his or her hands. Everybody's using face covers. Everybody's using gloves. And we have a sanitizing solution that we use constantly throughout the day. Every couple of minutes, we're sanitizing the doors, sanitizing the surfaces that we're using. We're not using any of our tables, but we're still cleaning constantly and throughout, just to try to be as precautious as we possibly can.
Absolutely. That's pretty much what it's about right now. Pretty much. Yep. I know I find myself here in the office cleaning surfaces. No one's really in the office, or we have very few people, but the few people that come in, we're constantly cleaning surfaces over and over and over, so I know what you mean by just that constant, just wiping down surfaces and stuff. So I also wanted to talk to you also about, I know I had reached out to several restaurateurs, and a lot of them were struggling to, obviously, everyone is struggling to keep up with the times and do those stuff, and change their business model. That's what everyone has to do. And one of the things that I think most restaurants have started doing, if they haven't, is limiting their menu. Is that something that you guys have done as well? Obviously not offering the full menu, but certain things. Is that kind of what you guys are doing at the moment?
Yeah, well, since this all came out so fast and we've had to, adapt to this new business model in like a day, pretty much from one day to the other, we have had to cut down our inventory. Not that much, maybe possibly I would say about 90% of our menu is still available, but we do have a few things that are not, just because since we have such a large inventory and since, our usual operation is completely different, we've just had to cut back a little bit so that we don't have a lot of food that's just going bad on us and we're having to spend on inventory that we can't use.
Right. It's about, reducing your food costs and maximizing what you can have. And that's what the limited menu is for. Great. Yeah.
Exactly.
I did reach out to a couple of them and everybody was like, well, we can't have all this. And I was like, well, you can do these type of things, reduce your menu. And the other thing that I saw that people were doing is also making more family-sized portions.
Yes.
That's something that I see is happening very well. And I also wanted to reach out, or mention to you that, you guys are doing a really exceptional job of not only of keeping your business operating and your employees employed, but also marketing yourselves on Facebook and on Instagram, especially on Instagram. And you guys have done really, really good, awesome work, putting out content like that. And that's something I wanted to put hats off. I know many restaurants that I've reached out to have just kind of stayed silent. And I've reached out to them, even if they're closed, I've said, you still got to put something saying that we're still here and we'll be back or something like that, So some of the things that I saw on Instagram on Facebook, that you guys took a very different approach that I thought was really cool, was offering little quick recipes for people at home that you want to do it. So, and you're mentioning them. And right now I'm on your Facebook page. Can you see that on the screen?
Yes, I can see. Yes, Rick.
Perfect. So yeah, right now I'm gonna mute it though, so it'll be playing in the background. But this is yourself here talking about a cauliflower ceviche recipe that you guys put online, and it was really, really cool. I mean, I watched it like 3 times already, and every time I see it, my mouth gets watery just looking at all those ingredients.
That's awesome. We're doing a good job then.
Yes. I mean, it definitely helps, And one of the things that I wanted to mention that you guys are doing it is because it's very unlikely that a restaurant would put out the recipes out there, but we are living in uncertain times right now, right? And we definitely want to be in front of our customers, right? And this definitely helps. It keeps you top of mind. That's the important thing. And look at that cauliflower; it looks really good. Wow. So yeah, I mean, what are the things that are you guys doing differently on social media that you weren't doing before? Are you doing now?
Yeah, well, the videos, basically, those are the main things. I mean, I think right now is a time where, it's been a difficult time for us and for other restaurateurs, for so many businesses, where at least we've been able to maintain open to survive through these, tough and uncertain times. And so the first thing that I thought is, how am I going to be able to keep my audience engaged? How can I keep our viewers, our customers that follow us on social medias engaged in wanting to see what we are doing? And so what I thought of is doing videos, tutorials, just like this one that you're playing right now, the cauliflower ceviche. I've also done mojito recipe tutorial. And then I just made another one that I haven't uploaded yet for a body scrub. So I think right now is just the time to pretty much think outside of the box and be creative with our content, with what we post out there. Because at first I thought like, okay, firstly, it's all to go, we're offering to go. But once a week goes by and people know that we're already offering to go, what else? What else can we tell people? What else can we, what else can we show that we're doing other than we're doing to go? Because all restaurants are doing to go.
Right. Yeah. And one thing I also wanted to mention, another thing I want to mention, I know you guys do a really, really good job of marketing yourself, not only on social media, but you guys also have a website that has your menu on there. And we're looking at that right now. So people can go online and look at your menu and give you a call to place that order.
Yes.
The other thing that I know, because I'm part of that list that you guys email me to, but you also have your own emailing subscribing list, right? Where people have subscribed into your own subscriber list, and basically you provide regular updates to your clients like that. And I wanted to mention that because obviously right now is we've always been preaching that you need to talk to your audience and number one, build the audience, and then talk to them continuously. And
Right.
one of those things is email marketing, right? And you guys do a really, really good job of it. I know before all this, you also were doing the Mercadito Fest as well, right?
Yep.
And yeah, you guys are doing a really good job, of course, of emailing messages, basically status updates, because not everyone's always on social media. Some people receive information different ways. And it also serves as a reminder, even if they saw it on social media, when they check their email, it pops up. What can you tell me more about what you guys do for emails? I know, I just know what I receive on this end, but
Yep.
so that you guys are doing on that end.
Right. So ever since we started the restaurant 7.5 years ago, we've always been very consistent in trying to get people's email. So customers, when they come in the restaurant and they pay their tab, we always have a little a paper that just gives the customer the option to leave their email if they're interested in receiving our newsletters or information for things that are going on, events and such. And so we've actually been very successful with that. And throughout the years, I think we've already built about a little over 4,000 emails, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And we don't send emails very often because I find sometimes if it's too many emails too often, people will, unsubscribe or whatever. But we will send maybe one email once every month or so with whatever's going on at the restaurant at that time, events, special dinners, or the Mercadito Fest, things like information that we just want to pass along to our email subscribers. So just to always be in touch with our subscribers and our fans, our clients.
That's awesome. And that's really, really cool. 4,000 emails, that's amazing. Not a lot of people, especially restaurants, can say that. I mean, that's great. That's really, really big.
Takes consistency. It hasn't been easy, but it definitely has been part of being consistent with being on top of the emails for all these years. It's easy to lose track and just kind of leave it on the side. But, I guess I've done a good job with that.
No, yes, you have. And if I may just double back to the videos, I was looking at it. And for the people that think that they need all this fancy equipment and this and that, and I've always told them that you don't need the fancy lights. You don't need a fancy camera. All you really need is just yourself, really. And just
your phone.
Exactly. And some of the videos that you did, like I said, it's just so much, a lot, especially nowadays, the phones are so, what's it called? They have really good cameras that you can do a lot of things with it. So you really don't need anything else but your phone, really. Is that correct? Is that what you guys are doing at the moment?
That's true. Yes, exactly. We're not using any kind of, special fancy equipment, none of that. We're using a simple phone.
That's awesome. And the videos still look great. It's just a matter of doing a little practicing. One thing I encourage everyone out there, whoever's listening, is that it's never going to be perfect. Just important thing to get started with something, and little by little, with time, things will get better. Your content will get better. That's what I wanted to mention. Well, that's really, really great. I know you're really busy. I know you're still taking orders and you're working out, and still, hustling out there. But again, I wanted to thank you for the time to reach out to us and talk with us a little bit about how your restaurant is doing and what you guys have been doing. But aside from that, I mean, that's great. Thank you for having us.
No, thank you. Thank you, Rick. Thank you for having us in your conversation. And, very nice talking to you.
Likewise. And if you don't mind, how can your audience find you, number one, on Facebook, Google, and how can they call to order from you?
So people can get a hold of us at our number, 956-568-5334. You all can check out our menu at www.lolitasbistro.com. And we're on social media, Instagram and Facebook at Lolitas Bistro.
That is awesome. Once again, thank you so much. And again, stay safe, and we'll be talking very soon.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us for ProValue Media's Market Like a Pro series. My name is Rick, your digital and print marketing partner. Today we have somebody that can help you elevate your company with custom branded signage for your restaurant interior, exterior, as well as your vehicles. Now, Quartermile Graphics has been helping businesses grow since 2002. They pride themselves with the best customer service, workmanship, and to do whatever it takes to meet the client's needs in the most efficient way possible without sacrificing any quality. Now, today's guest is Mary De Silva from Quartermile. Mary, good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing today?
We're doing good, thank you. How about yourself?
Good, good. Staying busy. I know right now you guys are staying busy pretty much trying to keep up with all the orders that you guys need to be putting out for the COVID-19 situation.
Of course, yes. We're trying to help all the local businesses, try to help them improve and help them with any signage, any rules that they have to put in the restaurant so they can wash their hands properly, have signage for customers not to go in, and stuff like that.
That's awesome. And one thing I noticed that you guys have started doing is pretty much you guys started putting out a lot of different type of products out there, or should I say custom printing solutions that you guys are offering for restaurants and businesses alike. But in this case, we're going to focus a little bit more on restaurants. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier before was talking about your floor graphics. Now your floor graphics, one of the things that I understand are pretty much, they're one of the simplest and easiest things to do. And they're great because you get to, number one, encourage that social distancing that everyone's trying to do. But number two, you can have something custom with your logo on it that looks a little more better than just a regular piece of paper. What do you guys have to use? I mean, or what do you guys use for the floor graphics? What is it? Can you tell me about that?
Well, these floor graphics, since we're trying to go ahead and help businesses keep the social distancing and help them tell their customers that pretty much where to stand. So these are a type of sticker that you can put on the floor, and they're anti-slip, so nobody will slip on them, and pretty much they're easy to put on and easy to remove. Like you mentioned before, we have done several for certain clients that want them very customized with their logo, their colors. That way it looks more uniform to their company. And they are trying to go ahead and encourage everybody here in Laredo to keep their social distancing and keeping it where we're still operating, but we're following the rules.
And that's super important now. That I know I walked into a couple of places and they don't have those type of things in place, and it's important to have those things. And even though the rules are tightening up right now, where people can't go into certain places, I know that these type of graphics, social distancing is going to be going way beyond this 2-3 week rule. So it's super important to, I guess, to keep encouraging it after this new restrictions get lifted, just to keep encouraging it, because I think it's going to be important to again, keep practicing social distancing. So that's awesome that you guys can do that. So one thing I noticed that when I stopped by your place last week, when I was looking at these graphics, is that they're really, really simple to use. And you guys can pretty much make them any size, right? I mean, they don't have to be a circle or square. I mean, it can be anything custom. I saw a couple of octagons that you guys did look pretty nice. They're just very, very different. That, it's just, you're better than your average shape, I guess you can say. But from my understanding, these are things that you guys can turn out in pretty much one business day, right? Like pretty much same day?
Correct. A lot of clients, since they need them right now in the situation really, really fast. So we do different shapes, any shape that you want, and we go ahead and print them pretty much the same day, as long as we can get the approvals early during the day.
Excellent, excellent. And so one of your most popular items that you guys do, that you guys can pretty much do all day long, is banners. Is that correct? So banners, these are great for signage outside, especially for your like drive-through open signs. And more than anything, like in this example that we're showing right here that you guys did for Dos Marias, one of your clients, is they had a family platter special that they wanted to announce, not just a drive-through open, but right now we notice that restaurants are doing special menus. They have special menus out there so that it's just easier for everyone to order, and also larger portions. So this right here was a pretty good example of what they're doing to do that. What else can you tell me about these banners that you guys are doing for them, like to reinforce them and things like that?
Well, a lot of businesses, as you said right now, Rick, they want to go ahead and show the community that they're helping out as much as possible. And a lot of people have kids, and of course it takes more people, like bigger quantities, and you don't want to spend that much money since it's very tight right now. And pretty much they're offering different apply the platters. They're offering, making sure that you know that they're open. A lot of customers are pretty much like Dos Marias is doing specials where it's like a family bundle. That way you can just order it and pick it up and you have everybody ready to eat.
And these banners, you can pretty much put them almost anywhere. I mean, you can use a standing structure or something like that. One of the things that I do notice that you guys do, and I know it might be a little geeky or a technical thing, but I noticed that you guys actually tape back the banners, the edges, to reinforce those edges so they last longer. That's something that I know most companies out there, you know, I see the banners are all torn up on the outside of, after like a week or two with high winds, but you guys take that extra time to strap that, to reinforce those edges. Is that correct?
Yes, we go ahead and either weld the edges all together, or we go ahead and put tape depending on what you're going to use it for. And pretty much we always recommend you guys put them where it's a flat surface. In case wind is going to go through them, we always recommend that either you do a couple of slits in the banner where it won't affect your artwork, and that way the wind can go through and your banner can last longer. Even though a lot of people are using these types of banners as temporary, we always tell our clients that even though it's temporary, you can always put it away, and if you're going to use it later, you already have it there. So we want to make sure you spend the money, but you spend it right with a product that's going to last you a long while.
And that's so true, because I've seen that happen a lot, where customers think that it's a one-day thing, but the reality is that this banner can be rolled up, like you said. You know, if you store it correctly, this will last you for a long, long time, that you can use it later on for different things, whatever it may be. You'll be surprised, and you won't have to spend that money again later on. So that's a really good pro tip you guys offer there about, you know, taking care of that banner, even though it is maybe temporary. So that's awesome. Well, let me ask you this. The banners right now, they're high quality, so you're not going to get something that's going to be fading away. More or less, what is the lifespan of one of these things? I know that they can be temporary, but again, we talked about it being more permanent. What type of lifespan do you guys give these type of banners?
So pretty much the lifespan we give them is anywhere between 2 to 3 years if you take care of them correctly, of course, because of the sun and other qualities that pretty much will affect them. They will start fading away little by little. But we always tell our clients lighter colors will fade away faster than darker colors. And if the sun's not hitting them too much, or if you're putting it on a surface where it's completely flat and it's not flapping around, they tend to last you 4 or 5 years. It just depends on how you use them. So I have some clients that do it, and it's only for like certain times of the year, or they put them with different specials, and every so often that they put out that special, they go ahead and bring out those banners, and I've seen them last for 6 years. It just, like I said, it just depends on what they use them for.
So one of your other more popular items that you guys sell a lot of are the Quartermile signs. I mean, not only is it just banners, but also Quartermile signs. Many people know these things as the political signs or the yard signs, that material, that corrugated plastic that people do, you know, this right here, I like these because they're awesome. That they're better than banners because they're freestanding. What else can you add to me about these type of Quartermile signs that you guys are using right now for restaurants?
So pretty much these are very popular because a lot of people like to do them in very custom, and you can cut them in any shape. You can use them in any way possible. And like you said, the good thing about these, they're a more rigid material, so you can just keep them outside and standing up compared to a banner that's a little bit more flimsy. A lot of clients prefer these because they will go ahead and use them like in the picture as advertising and make people's eyes attention and catch attention, and pretty much use them anywhere, since they're very, very light and they're very, very economical. So clients can go ahead and use them for different reasons. Some people use them for menus, some people use them for advertisings. It just depends on what you need at that point in time.
Yeah, and I actually like that because I noticed that these Quartermile signs, the way this company is using it, or this restaurant is using it, they have some directional signs, And then, like you said, they have a menu on there, and we're talking again about that temporary menu that you guys might be needing. You know, you don't want a piece of paper. You want something that's going to be nice, bright, and very visible with all the prices and the items that you guys are selling. So in this case, you know, when someone's driving up, this customer has their own drive-through, but again, they needed a very, very quick and quick option to show the new menu items, and they did a really, really good job of showing how that would work in this picture that you guys are looking at.
Correct.
So apart from the core plus signs, you also offer window signage. Now that window signage, I know that that category can be very, very broad. There's a bunch of different things that you guys offer for window signage, but you have things like static clings, and I know you guys have regular vinyl, and of course, one of our favorites that we have outside is the perforated windows that you guys can use, which, you know, serves as two purposes. Number one is branding, and number two also as a privacy privacy, and also blocking the sun as well. That's where I've noticed that does pretty well. What else can you guys tell me about your window signage that you guys do?
Well, we always try to help our clients as best as possible, and we go with them, and when they want to go ahead and cover up some windows, we go ahead and talk to them exactly kind of what they want to do. Since you said the perforated, that material serves as several purposes. You can brand on them, you can go ahead and it helps you with the sun, but some clients don't want nothing to pass through, because on the perforated at night, you will be a little bit more of a see-through thing compared to a regular vinyl, which is pretty much a blackout completely. So some clients say, you know what, we're not gonna use these windows, we just want it for branding, and we don't care if nothing comes in or out. And I'm like, well, we go ahead and recommend more the regular vinyl. And you have those clients that, of course, as right now, that it's something temporary, they don't want to leave no glue behind on their windows, so they go ahead and go with the static clean, which would also help as promotional items, and that could also help as just pretty much as in this time where you want to go ahead and promote that you're doing curbside, you're going ahead and you're still open, and that way people can go ahead and remember their social distancing, that we're not going in on the restaurants, and pretty much it's where we have a material for every need that you might have.
And that's awesome. I really love the static clings, the one to the left that everyone's looking at. I love those, and those are perfect for people who have very, very big windows. But like Mary said, you know, you don't want something that's going to be permanent. You don't want to block your showroom either, but you want something that's going to shine through. And these static clings, it's like a very, very a unique plastic material that allows you to slap it back on and slap it off without having to worry about that residue that you might have to worry. And I like that because it's very, well, it's repositionable. Is that correct?
Yes, it's pretty much, it just depends how you take care of it. But if you go ahead and remove it from one window and then go ahead and put it in a different window, you can change it after a certain amount of time. Of course, it's gonna stop sticking, but it will give you a good lasting point.
That's great. Awesome. Cool. So now let's talk about your vehicle signage. Your vehicle signage, now there's so many different options out there. One of the things that I've noticed that a lot of restaurants have had to pivot is people that have their dining room area that's now closed off. Now they have to, you know, turn into a delivery service, and people are delivering. Some people have turned their waiters into delivery drivers, and because of that, you know, you're dropping off those stuff, and that's fine to use those cards, but some I guess cost-effective option is using magnets, like when you guys see on the right-hand side, that you can pretty much slap onto any vehicle that can make it look temporary, and still, as you're making your rounds, making your deliveries, you can see those magnets on there, as opposed to just like, you know, the more permanent stuff, which is like the decals or a full wrap. What can you tell me about your vehicle signage?
So pretty much, like you said, we do have different options, and one of the options is very popular right now is a delivery, and we go ahead and recommend that we put some graphics, and since they're personal vehicles of the employees, of course, they don't want to have something permanent, so that's why we offer those magnets. That way they can just slap them on there, and then they're delivering, and it serves as a two-way purpose, because as you're driving down Laredo, people are seeing them and they're like, oh, look, they're open and they're delivering, and you can get their number, compared to some clients. So you know what, it's something a little bit more permanent. We always have this delivery car. So they want to go ahead and do something not too expensive, but to understand and to make sure that they our advertising, and it's something like you said, an example of the other delivery cars, which is pretty much the decals. And you have those clients that really, really want to go and want to promote more their business, and they go ahead and go with either a full wrap or a partial wrap, but that's because they're keeping it as a steady thing.
Right, right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because as far as the full wraps, because I know at certain times the misconception for wraps can be that they can be very, very expensive. And I know you guys have several different options when it comes to the full vehicle wraps. You know, you don't have to wrap the whole vehicle. You can do a partial wrap, maybe just the windows and things like that. And that way you still have that branded vehicle, but you don't have to, you know, spend as much as you might think, you know. So that's that common misconception that I encourage anybody out there, that when you're talking about a wrap, you know, it does not have to be the full vehicle. It can just be a partial wrap that, again, just try to save some money on wherever you can. And that would be one way to do it without having to sacrifice any quality. So that's something I encourage anybody to do. Just think about doing a partial wrap versus a full. Now, way before everything, I guess this COVID-19 situation started happening, I know you guys were also doing curbside signage. Pretty much those, like, I want to say, I'm not sure you want to call these things, but I know you're gonna be best to tell me about these. But these are great. These curbside signs, you know, reserved for parking only and order pickups. This is a more permanent solution for people that already have this type of this type of setup. You know, what can you tell me about these type of curbside signs?
Yes, pretty much some restaurants do offer, since before right now, like you said, the parkings, and they want to go ahead and say, you know what, these are the parkings for our clients. So they have some signs that are a little bit more permanent, and like an example there for the Scratch and La Finca, they have it there that way clients know that that's where they're gonna park, even though they've had them way before the whole pandemic is happening. That way, when you order and you need to go ahead and you just park there on their spot, and pretty much they'll take your food out and you're ready to go, compared to getting down and picking it up yourself. Now, right now we are offering some special promotions on different restaurants who do need some signage of this type, and pretty much they can go ahead and either put it on a pole or they can put it directly on a wall, depending on what they have and the space they have available. We go ahead and recommend this item, which is not too expensive, but it will last you for a long time.
Yes, and I've noticed them, and where I've seen them, where people can maybe most identify as maybe where people have gone to, like, maybe like to a Chick-fil-A, where the drive-through is there and they have that station 1 and station 2, or even to a Chili's or Applebee's curbside pickup. Now, this material, like you mentioned, it's more permanent, and obviously we're talking about metal here. Is that correct?
Yes, it is a composite aluminum, so pretty much it's a material that will last you, I want to say maybe 6-7 years.
Wow.
It just depends on the colors. So it's an investment that you'll do, but it will work out in the long run, especially if you do continue to do those curbside things and you do want to go ahead and continue that type of business. You already have it there, so you already know where you can tell your clients, oh, go ahead and go to curbside 1 or go to curbside 2, and that way people can just take out your food.
I agree. And one thing that you mentioned right now that I think is super important is that if for restaurants out there, if you're going to continue doing this, and I know that things are going to change dramatically, even more, or are going to stay changed, they're going to say, after this pandemic, because we will get through it. But once it's done, I know that things are going to be different then, you know, and people who have that new drive-through capability or delivery service or curbside service, may be another option for them to continue doing it, you know. So that's something that, again, this is something a little more permanent. It's not as expensive, but still it looks really, really nice. I mean, you're talking about material that looks like it's made out of those traffic signs, you know, so it's not like some little flimsy aluminum that's going to bend over. I mean, you're talking about, this is the same material that you use stop signs out of. Is that correct?
It's a very similar material that you use in stop signs. And like you said, it will last you for a very, very long time. And especially we do them customized to whatever that client needs. Some clients want to put, since they have an icon, they want to go ahead and make it in the shape of their icon. or make it in a rectangle or a square or a circle. So hexagons, octagons, just pretty much depending on what you're going to use it for, we can go ahead and help you. Some companies do buy them as parking signs or as stop signs. That way clients know where to stop, where to park, and pretty much this material has multi-use, so you can use it at very, very different items or very, very different ways on using it.
That's awesome. Okay. So in addition to everything we just mentioned, we also have a bunch of little extras that you guys are also doing, which are pretty neat. I mean, we have things like pole banners and those signicades, and of course, because of the drive-through and new curbside pickup, you know, you want to keep not only your staff under a nice little cool roof, because it will get hot eventually. You guys are also offering these canopies that roll out that can also be custom branded. So that's pretty neat. What other items are you guys are mentioning, or what else can you tell me about these?
So pretty much like you said, yes, right now, it is a lot of buying here and buying there, but all these materials that you will purchase do have a long lifespan, and pretty much you will be able to use them at certain times with different things. Compared to, example, the signicates, those, it is a hard plastic that you can put outside, and that way people can know you're open. But if you ever want to change the design that you have on it, you can simply take it off and put a brand new one. We do offer different materials that you can go ahead and put on there. That way you can use it with different items at different points in time of the year. And pretty much some people have those hanging signs that you want to keep there for something more permanent, especially when you have your little to go outside, or you have those people who want to stay there, and pretty much you can hang it off your roof and you can keep it there for a very, very long time. And those people who want to continue and keep out like a little, like a curbside thing, and people taking orders outside, you can go ahead and go with a canopy and custom print it to your design with different colors and different everything, to go ahead and help your employees keep in a cool shade, especially in the hot summer months. So
another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is that not only do you guys just offer stuff for restaurants, but I mean, you guys can pretty much, you guys have an amazing crew and also amazing equipment that you guys can pretty much do anything. And I noticed that, I mean, the stuff that you guys do, the quality that you guys put in, the care that you guys put into your products and the solutions that you guys offer, it's pretty much, I almost want to say it's unmatched, to be honest with you. I noticed that you guys have equipment that will custom route, and for everyone doesn't know what that means, is pretty much do any custom shape with a special machine. You're not hand cutting it, so you're not going to expect any rough ridges or anything like that. Everything will be nice and smooth, and that's something that's super, super important when you're looking at branding and any type of signage and things like that. So that's really, really awesome that you guys can do that.
Correct. So we want to go ahead and give our clients 100% of our time. We go ahead and think everybody is as important, and pretty much we go ahead and help you guys with any needs you might have, and we recommend you the best thing possible. And like you said, we take care of every client, and we pretty much want you to do it right the first time and not have to pay 2-3 times to go ahead and do the same thing.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. That's something super important. There's a lot of people that sometimes, obviously, cost is always an issue. As any business owner or manager went low, that you're always looking for a better deal at cost. And there are some things that you can save on, but I will mention this, that there are some things you do not want to skimp on, and quality on your company brand. That's something that you don't want to do, because again, these colors can wash out and if you're not using the right material. And one thing I love about you guys is your customer service, that when someone calls you guys and asks for a certain material, you know, to you guys, a banner is not just a banner. You guys want to know what you guys are going to use it for, where it's going to go. And the reason why you guys, you know, take that care to ask those questions is because you know these products best, and you want to make sure that it lasts that client, that you want to make sure that it lasts as long as it should be, for the whole life of it. You're not just trying to put something out there or sell anything. You want to make sure that this is the right product for them that's going to last a long time and make them look good. So that's something that I really like about you guys, that you guys take that extra step and care for doing that. That's awesome.
Correct.
In addition to doing all those things, I mean, I know you guys, again, you guys can pretty much do anything when it comes to printing from signs, banners, vehicle wraps, window signage. I know you also started doing lit signs recently, as we were looking earlier. So even those lit signs is something that you guys can do for, again, that's a lot more permanent, but still that's something that you guys are also offering. What else do you guys do that you guys can tell me about what you guys do?
So pretty much we can go ahead and help any business grow, and pretty much we like to go ahead and give them that branding image that they need. And we offer anything that you might think, any idea you might have, we make it happen. We can do something as simple as a sticker to go ahead and do as a custom display for your office to showcase your items that you need. We do assign you a special designer, and they will work with you 100% until you like what you get, and we'll go ahead and make it happen.
That's true. And that's something that we didn't even mention. I know you guys have your own designers, so people don't have to worry about designs or anything like that. Pretty much, if you have a logo, you can give it to them, and from there, basically, you guys take it from there. You give them your concept, and your designers will go ahead and roll that out for everybody and give you a proof that you need before printing out anything, of course. And that's super important to know that that every product that you guys put out is going to have that high quality resolution that you guys need. So that's really neat. So Ms. Mary, I also wanted to ask you, if somebody wanted to come out and reach out to you guys, what's the best number and what's the best process to get a hold of you guys, especially right now that this situation with COVID-19 is going on? What is it that you guys can do? I mean, are you guys offering anything where you guys can go over there? What kind of solutions do you guys offer when it comes to dealing this type of scenario?
So a lot of clients, through email, they're communicating. Some people give us a call here at the office. We are open from 9 to 6, Monday through Friday. And of course, you could always reach us also on the weekends through an email, or some clients have our personal cell phones and they give us a call, especially if they need something right away, and we make it happen.
That's awesome. And I know I have your personal cell phone number, so I know when I need something, I call you all the time. So thank you for that again, for answering my phone calls on the weekend. That's really neat. But for all of you other guys that are looking, for everyone else that is joining us out there, the number to call Quartermile Graphics is 722-7690, and they're located behind the arena at 6420 Polaris Drive, 78041. Again, that's 722-7690. And again, another place that I know that you can find you is also on Facebook. You guys are also on Facebook and on Instagram, and it shows a bunch of little quick videos and stuff that you guys are doing on social media for different clients. So that's pretty awesome. Again, thank you, Mary, for your time. I know you guys are really, really busy trying to fulfill those customer orders. We'll be talking to you guys soon.
Thank you very much for having us here, and let us know in case anybody needs anything.
We will do. Have a good one.
Likewise. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, this is Rick from ProValueMedia, your digital and print marketing partner. I hope you guys are safe and your families are well. Today we have someone that has an app for Androids and iPhones that have been a big demand right now during this crisis. Food for You is a local third-party delivery service for restaurants. They have been operating here since 2017. They provide delivery service for over 100 restaurants in Laredo. Wow. Here with us today is Juan Ortiz, the marketing and operations manager, as well as co-founder of Food for You. Juan, can you hear me?
I sure can. Hear you loud and well.
Excellent, excellent. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Just getting some work finished just a few minutes ago and ready to go with this call. But, work calls, we got that done, and we're ready to get another day done.
Excellent, man. Yeah, I'm sure you guys right now are slammed, especially, with everything that's going on. I'm sure you guys are slammed right now.
Yes, thankfully, we've been able to actually break some of our own records. One of our new drivers that he just started with us maybe like a month ago beat the daily record that we had for orders for one driver in one day. And just yesterday, we beat our own record of the amount of orders that we've done delivered in one day. So yeah, you can see we're pretty busy.
Yeah, I bet. So, so Juan, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about your background, how the idea came about, and more importantly, how does the app work?
Yeah, sure thing, of course. So in regards to me, I've always liked to share this because I've always said that the foundation of the job experience that I've had and my education at TAMU really helped out, and an important part is to get this startup company going, right, with Eli, since ever since he approached me back in the summer of 2017. And I've worked in restaurants since 2010, worked at different restaurants, and I worked at different bars. So as far as the restaurant industry, I was very, very familiar with it. And as far as my education, I graduated from TAMU here, of course, class of 2012, and my business administration degree with concentration in marketing really helped out as far as being able to help have food for you have a good aspect and a good image along with the people. Also, what really played a big part as far as my background was that I spent almost 4 years with the corporate marketing department from IBC here, another local bank, which played out a big part of keeping a corporate image into what we are, which is only a local company. But a lot of people have told me that they thought we were from out of town and that we were coming in and going hard and getting it done, right? Trying to tackle the competition that is nationwide. But no, I mean, we just really played out a good image and try to get things as done with good quality, as far as ads, as far as the app itself, as far as the marketing that we use, a little bit of everything, right? So everything has actually played a part into the development of the systems and operations of Food for You. Thankfully, everything worked in my favor as far as that goes.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because a lot of people have, I'm not going to say odd jobs, but different jobs, and they always feel that this is not the job for me. But in your case, all the jobs that you've had pretty much were a stepping stone to where you're at. Is that kind of correct? I mean, every job that you've had in the past, you took something from that and applied it to this new, this new job or company that you created. Is that correct? I mean, it's pretty much what you're saying, that, IBC helped out here, and your bar experience helped out here. So you have some workings of how a restaurant works and their lingo. And so is that something that you could agree with? I mean, is there anything else that you may have left out?
You hit it right on the nail. It really has been a stepping stone as far as my experience goes. And right now, you're scrolling through one of the pictures in the website I saw on the screen, and you can see 3 people. One of them is, of course, Eliezer. He's the founder. He's the man with the idea, and he's the man that approached me. And it was funny because it all started just how many startups have started the same way, with a meeting at Starbucks.
Yeah.
So that's exactly how it happened. And Joe, the guy on the right side, he was the person who linked me up with Eli, and he said, you know what, I have this friend, he's really good with marketing, I think he can help you out. And that's how it started. I was just going to help him out with his marketing, and he told me about the idea, and I was like, yeah, I'm sure I can help you out and make it happen. Eventually, it led to me, at the moment I had 2 jobs, and it led me to quitting both jobs and going full-time with Food for You, because it was just too big of a it wasn't an idea anymore. It was already something that we're doing, and we had to go full on. So everything worked out in that favor. So that's how it started, with a meeting at Starbucks, pitching the idea, and me believing in this idea that we can make it happen. And thankfully, almost 3 years later, where I want to say hopefully Laredo's favorite food delivery service, and growing every week. And I can really say that with all confidence, because right now, due to the situation that we're at, we're becoming a major asset, right? And a good tool for a lot of restaurants that at this moment need anything that they can use to get some income.
Absolutely. And you actually alluded to the next question I was going to ask you, was like, Obviously, you guys are doing a really, really good job of running your operations and making it, like you said earlier, looking at like an outside company, and that goes a lot to talk about like with your branding and your marketing. And that's pretty much another reason why I wanted to speak with you today, because of the awesome job your marketing and branding that Food for You has done. Obviously, with the current crisis, you guys are in a bigger demand than ever. But before that, you guys were pretty busy before that. And right now it's just, an extra, peak that you guys are doing. How important do you think that your brand has been to your success? Yeah, if you want to add to that.
I think we've handled a very corporate image, and there's a lot of things that we wanted to do as far as local stuff, or things that your average local company would be able to manage and do. For example, giveaways or tickets or anything like that, or sometimes even remotes or anything like that. But we really wanted to keep that corporate image and say, you know what, not that we didn't want to be associated with it, we just have this image that I want to sustain, because I want people to have that trust that this company knows what they're doing. They're probably from somewhere else, and honestly, they give a good service. So what I really wanted to focus was on the service and keeping a good image. And unfortunately, I had to let go of some of the other ideas, and there was always ideas as far as marketing things that we could have done, but it was due to us keeping that image of, you know what, we're acting like a big company when we're actually just another small town girl from Laredo type of student. So
yeah, but
we've been doing it big, and thankfully we're growing, like you said, more than ever. And right now we're at a point where, like I said earlier, hopefully we're Laredo's favorite delivery service, and especially right now we've become hopefully a really good tool for everybody that's trying to stay home.
It is, and I know you guys have been, like I said, taking other like safety precautions for, like you mentioned right now. There's a lot of restaurants out there that are in need of this type of service because, they only have one phone line, and you only have so many cell phones you can use. You're going to need an extra method of, like you said, an extra revenue source of income, and that channel in this case is yours. There are some restaurants that have their own delivery service, I know, but even then they'll only need to be limited to the amount of people that they have, so that extra person, extra channel like yourself is a perfect installation, I guess, for them. You know what I mean? It definitely helps. And yeah, I love the way you guys have been marketing. I want to come back double back to that a little bit. What I've seen, what you mentioned earlier, like, that company looks like it's from out of town. Unfortunately, the mentality here is like that. That like, if it's too cheesy, someone might go, oh, it's just another local person or whatever. But if the branding and the marketing looks really, really good, they have that same sense of confidence.
Security.
I guess, like
Security.
Yeah, that confidence and security that say, you know what, you're right. This company does know what they're doing. Look at them. They're from out of town. They've probably been doing this for a long time. And honestly, it does really, really show. I've used your app a couple times. And it really is really, really intuitive. And I love how there's photos with every item that I used other apps before when all these apps came out. I do want to mention to all the audience that I don't want to say against all odds, but yeah, against all odds, Food for You launched in September 2017, along with 2 or 3 other apps that launched around the same similar time. And I will tell the audience right now, if they don't know about it, most of those people are no longer in business because it's a really, really tough business to operate. Hats off to Food for You for being a visionary and taking the right steps to make sure that everything comes out correctly. Some of those other people tried it out. It just wasn't for them. You can tell that they were kind of half in, not 100% in the way you guys are. And it definitely shows because you guys are pretty much one of the ones that are left standing. And again, it's a very, very good app. A lot of restaurants use it and customers as well. So that's one thing that I thought was pretty neat. So it all starts with your logo, right? And I know I said your logo is everywhere. A good logo is super, super important. Like you said, it's pretty much your brand. From there, you can see it on your shirts, your magnets, your videos, your apps. All your social media stuff. And now anytime you see that number 4, it's, you know, automatically associated for food for you. You know, that is that kind of, I'm assuming, since you're a marketing major, that was the plan all along, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that just how whenever you see the little chick from Chick-fil-A, just whenever you see the yellow ticket from Best Buy or the apple from Applebee's, you associate, right, a logo with a brand. And that's what we try to accomplish. Even colors, we wanted to make sure the colors are important on this. The yellow, it stands out. Every company, as far as competition, has their own color, right? There's others with red, there's others with green, there's others with blue, with black. But our yellow really stands out whenever you put it against the other ones, and it really contrasts well with the black. And I think we've been able now to successfully have managed to build the brand and have people associated that way. They see the four, they know it's food for you. Now they know it's a food delivery. And I'm sure there's still a lot of people that don't know about it, but now, especially in times like these, they're finding out that there's services available through apps that can definitely help them out, not leave their home and stay home and still get their food, right? I mean, I've always said that any person is our customer, because you're not gonna fool me. Everybody gets hungry. So it's not like I have a target market that I can say, you know what, well, only women or only men or only women this age, or
Yeah,
everybody gets hungry. Yeah, everybody's hungry. So if you're hungry, stuck at work, or if you're at home and can't leave because either you have the car at the shop, or you got to leave the kids at work, or whatever it is, we're there to help out the different situations. I have a really fun and really nice experience that there was this lady that would order a lot, and she would order from restaurants that were very close to her. So we always question, like, why she wouldn't just go get it. I mean, it's super close. And the reason is that one of those times, it was one of our drivers that is closer to us. We have a closer relationship. He shares that whenever he went to the door, when she opened up the door, she was actually in a wheelchair, and she would order from her iPad. So she couldn't physically go out and buy herself something to eat. I'm guessing whoever lived with her would, do her the favor, or anybody else that she knew would. So whenever we started with the app, and she started back in like 2 years ago ordering, that was just a story, right? That we didn't even think about that market, but we've helped people that aren't capable of leaving their homes for whatever reason might be, still get their food.
That's absolutely correct, and you're right. I mean, that's something I didn't think about it either. I guess we're blessed that we're not, I guess, in that position, but there are people like that are out there that again use this service, and that's awesome. They get to try out different things without having to. I'm not sure what the proper word is, but they get to try out different things. I'll leave it at that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she's ordered from a lot of places where she's already run out of places to try.
Excellent. And right now on your looking at your website right here, and I just kind of want people for the people that don't know who you are and haven't heard of you and not sure how it works. For me as a client, as a customer, you want to guide me through that process of how simple it is. I mean, it is really simple, but in case of people that don't know, would you care to explain that to us?
Yes, of course. It's fairly easy. I'm not gonna lie. If people are familiar with the other rideshare apps like Lyft and Uber, it works basically the same, but for food, right? So it starts with making your login. And one thing that we wanted to establish at the very beginning, I remember when we were at Starbucks. We're at the Starbucks at Target at that time. We would switch around Starbucks, and I remember that we always said that the easy login was just using Facebook. That we wanted to make sure that the easier it is, the people were more likely gonna use it, because I mean it goes a long way as far as being user friendly, right? So one of the things was that you can log in with Facebook, and or if you wanted to do your account with email because you don't have Facebook, then of course either way works. So that's how it all starts, right? You of course download the app, and fun fact, the app at the very beginning was just available for iOS for a couple of months.
I remember that.
And yeah, and we had to wait for the Android version, and then the Android version came out, And finally, we were able to say that we're available to everybody, right? To all smartphone users. So like any company, we had to grow at our pace. And that's one thing that we have been doing. We still, the app does not look like it did back then, where we work on every week on updates and things we can better. Then going back to the ordering process, the next step would be, of course, put in the location where you want to get your food delivered. Once you put in your location, that'll upload a list of restaurants that are available to you, depending on what area of the city you're at. Once you've chosen the restaurant of your choice, like you said, you select from the menu. That one thing about being local is that we're able to handle the relationship between restaurants more one-on-one, right? Versus a national company that just cares about your menu and puts it in and that's it. So one thing that we took advantage is that the menu, most of the menus have a lot of pictures. And of course, one thing that is going to catch your eye and it's going to want to make you order even more and more is the pictures. So a menu that is full of pictures is going to be more attractive to the customer. Hopefully, creating a bigger tab and a bigger order, and you know, everybody wins. So that was one thing that we were big on. Once they've selected their food, all they have to do is input their payment method. And once they've input their payment method, they just confirm all the information, which is the amount that they're purchasing, the address that they're sending their food to, and the payment method. Once they've confirmed, all they have to do is just wait wherever they're at. Either it's at the office, whether it's at home, at their apartment, and they're going to be getting notifications every step of the way in regards to the order. Whenever the driver accepts their order, they'll get a notification. Whenever the driver has the food already at the restaurant, they'll get a notification. When the driver is en route towards their destination, they get a notification. And whenever the driver has arrived, they also get the notification. The last one is just saying that their food has been delivered, and hopefully they like the service and they gave us a rating back in the app. So the app is going to let you know about the status of the order at every step of the way, and you get notifications to alert you how your order is going. Of course, you're able to contact the driver for whatever reason may be. The app, you can actually track the driver whenever they're leaving the restaurant. You can track the driver as they're heading towards your destination. So we thought that was something cool, something interactive, because if we keep them entertained, before they know it, their food has arrived, and they didn't even feel like if it was, you know, so-and-so time.
It's true. It's very true. I remember the first time I ordered from you guys, I was not expecting that. And you're absolutely right. You're constantly getting updates from you guys as far as where your order is at. I remember the first time we ordered, I remember getting that text and I was like, okay, your driver picked it up. And I was like, cool. And then all of a sudden your driver's on his way. And I was like, okay, cool. And then your driver's outside.
More excited, right?
Yeah, I was just like, hey, that's kind of cool. And you're right. You know, it made that time, which wasn't long, by the way, but it made that time go even faster. And right away I was like, okay, you know, you're ready with your shoes on to go open the door and get your food, right? So or pajamas, whatever you're gonna put on. But yeah, I mean, that's something that is very important, and I think it helps everyone, like I said, keep engaged. That's very important.
Yeah, it's part of the experience. It definitely is. Once the driver has arrived, then they have their 10-15 seconds of sharing their customer service with the customer, and you know, that's how they earn their tips. Make sure that the food is all correct, give them a friendly smile, wish them that they enjoy the food, make sure that they received everything. Right now, of course, needless to say, we have that contactless delivery, which is something that we're pushing. Another thing that we've been pushing right now is taking precautions. For example, like using gloves that we got for all of our drivers that they can pick up at our office on a daily basis. Or we also got them face masks, which are also branded.
Yeah, so they have to be. Yeah, that's awesome.
We got those custom made, and we got some black ones with yellow strings and then yellow ones with black strings. So even whenever you don't see a driver because they're wearing a hoodie, if they're wearing the yellow or the black face mask, then you know it's a food for you driver, right? So it goes back to the branding.
It is, and that is awesome. I mean, that's an extra nice little touch that I personally would not have thought of. That, I mean, that's really cool. That goes to show how much care and thought you guys put into your brand, just having your own mask there, and not just a shirt, but also, the mask as well. And especially right now that safety is very important, for your staff and for the public, how is that going, by the way? I know you guys already mentioned that you guys are already taking those precautions. Is there anything else that you guys are doing or had any issues with that as far as anything that would make the process go easier for you guys during these times?
Another thing that we are doing, at our office, we have Germix antibacterial.
Okay.
So we have that available in large quantities for our drivers, so that way they can go refill their little bottles and make sure that they always have on them and with them. So whenever they go pick up gloves, they can go refill their Germix and whatnot. So that way, again, whatever we can do to make sure that they're having the most precautions as possible, we're going to try to do. Whatever is in our hands, we take care of our drivers, because without them, we wouldn't be able to give our customers the great service that we do. And one of the things, as far as things that have gotten a little hard on us these couple of weeks, has just been the restaurants, keeping up with the restaurant schedule. Because the restaurants, and I totally understand, trust me, like, we don't even get mad. We're just having to cancel the order with the customer because the restaurant closed early because they didn't have that many sales. So little things like that we're having trouble with, but we've been able to finally, on Mondays, hey, let's start calling everybody. Okay, let's call everybody's schedules and whatnot. And we made the schedules in the app available for the restaurants to edit themselves. But sometimes they don't, but don't worry, like, we'll take care of it, because at the end of the day, the orders go through us, so we got to take care of it ourselves. So that's just one of the things that we've been having a little bit of trouble with in regards to that.
No, you're right, and understandably so. Again, everything is changing. I know a couple weeks ago, everything was changing hour by hour, and restaurants were pretty much like, I know because we have a couple of clients that we manage their social media accounts. And in the morning, it was like, yes, let's go ahead and 100%, let's do this. We're going to do delivery. And then when they saw that, something changed or an ordinance changed, or all of a sudden, things were a little harder or wasn't as great as they expected, all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're only offering these items. And then you have to go back and correct that. And then it's like, okay, no more delivery. And now you're doing this. And so I remember earlier on when everything was starting to roll out, having to make those hour by hour changes, and I can see how that would affect you guys when you guys are thinking they're open, and then someone places an order. But yeah, you're right. It's super important to have that communication, and I think everyone's been a little struggling with that.
No, and we, like I said, we totally understand that there's a lot of things you're worrying about, and that might be the last thing on your mind. But that's why we're there also to help. We're there to ask, and we'll take the initiative and start doing that. But one thing that we also had to do, it even affected our schedule, because we spoke to the local government here, and they said that we're okay as far as driving at those hours, like after 10, after they pass the curfew. Mm-hmm. But nevertheless, we figured out that once we looked at everybody's schedule, as far as like the restaurants are concerned, not a lot were available after 10. So why were we even going to stay open if only Whataburger was open?
Wow. So, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So we ended up switching it up. And I told Eli, I remember having this conversation a couple of days ago. And I was like, okay, so we already switched it to closing at 10. But what if we change it to opening at 10 in the morning instead of 11? And we started thinking, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, why not? Because there's nothing about that's stopping us from starting earlier. Even at that, like, we were limiting ourselves in that matter. But right now that we are able to do it, let's do it. So right now we switched our own hours of operation to 10, from 10 to 10. So that's also something that has that we've had to change in the past couple of days.
And that's awesome. I mean, that goes to show, like, again, how much effort and thought you guys are putting into this. It's not just trying to make money. It's seeing how you can solve those problems and make it easier for yourself, your staff, and of course your customers as well. That's amazing that you guys are taking those extra steps to fit everyone's schedule. Because again, everything is changing so fast right now. You know, one day it's this, the next day it's something else. You know, that you guys have to do. So that's great.
Definitely.
And if any, again, so we already know how it worked. So how it works, excuse me. So the next question is, if any restaurant out there wants to join, you know, what's the process, or how can they get a hold of you? How does that look? And I guess more importantly, one question I know they're going to want to ask is, how fast can you have it up and running?
So to answer those questions, one of the ways that they can get hold of us is through our email, which is info@myfoodforyou.com. That's the one right there on the screen, info@myfoodforyou.com. They can always reach out by calling us through our 1-800 number. That's another thing that we did to look extra professional, creating a 1-800 number versus a local. That gave us a lot of rep in the image. So any of those ways, they can go ahead and contact us, or by all means, they can send me an email, which is, my email is juan.ortiz@myfoodforyou.com. Or if they want to reach me through my work phone, of course, I'm always all ears, which is 956-652-2402. I can either get a text or receive a call. I always have to receive a call because I never know who it's coming from. It's probably from a restaurant, so I usually answer my call. And if I don't, I call you right back. So I'm always available, and that's one of the things where whenever they ask me, hey, well, are you working right now? I'm like,
always.
Bro, I'm always working.
Yeah, always. Yeah. I get those. Yeah, I get those phone calls all the time, even on a Sunday or Saturday, and like, are you working? I'm like, always. What's going on? How can I help you? Maybe not at the office, but I'm always working. That's just the life of an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, that's the way it goes when you're running a startup. And then to answer the last question, for the most part, we can have a restaurant up and running anywhere from 3 to 4 days, depending on the length of the menu. But it's fairly easy, and we work with all sorts of restaurants and all sorts of locations as far as the way they want to work with us. I mean, that's another advantage that we have of being local, that we can come into an agreement as far as how we want to work with them.
That's good. Yeah, you guys are flexible. That's awesome. And
we'll work with everybody.
Something that I'm sure would help out your audience, and I'm sure you were alluding to it, but I'll go ahead and touch on it if you don't mind, is I guess I'm assuming that right now, because time is of the essence, and if somebody wants to put it up, and the restaurant wants to put up the restaurant up and running, I would, I guess, encourage them to start with a smaller and limited menu first, and then slowly roll out the ones that are going to go, I guess, later on when everything's, slows down a little bit. Is that the case? The smaller the menu, the better it is for you guys to kind of launch things faster? Yes,
it definitely will help things go faster. And we've done it with restaurants that we already have. They told us, you know what, I'm not going to have this for the next couple of weeks because my vendors are not bringing in these items. So you know what, just put these top sellers. And, if that's what sells, then that's what you're going to have, and that's what we're going to sell for you.
Yeah. So, we have seen the current trend. Again, we have a lot of restaurant clients. We share a lot of mutual clients that we do a lot of printing and some design work for. And we've talked to them, and everyone's pretty much going into a very smaller, limited menu because of what's going on, and also larger family orders, so that it makes sense. There are still people out there that will not order one dish, but they might order a parrillada or something like that for the whole family, that they can still treat themselves.
Parrilladas have probably been our number one seller these past 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie. You hit it right on the money. Parrilladas have been our one top seller.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. I mean, there's very limited supplies. Nobody wants to. I know Laredo is a very big on grilling. Carne asada is huge.
Huge.
It is
huge.
and because of what's going on, there's a lot less of them, I would imagine. But at least right now, earlier on, I did see a lot of people posting, and I was like, wow, people are still cooking out for themselves, but still. But yeah, now they have that other option of not having to cook and order through you guys, through one of your various restaurants that you guys have on your app. That's awesome.
Yeah, you mentioned also the family orders. That's That's a very important thing for the restaurants to, for those who haven't, to be able to establish something like that, whether it's a family pack or whether it's an office pack, something that can get bundled up and that the office, everybody can benefit out of just one delivery. By all means, I mean, anything that works for the restaurants, we're going to accommodate it. We're going to put it in their menu. Or some of the restaurants were also inputting their, actually we got a call from one of the customers that wanted a bottle of mimosa with their brunch order. So now that the state has allowed that, now we can also do that too. We're just kind of, okay, who actually does have alcohol that they can sell for delivery or for pickup, and who doesn't. So we're still transitioning towards that, because there's a lot of things that are changing along with that, with the things that are going on.
Yeah,
one of them being that the TABC is not flexible at all. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the restaurants know that, and they they bent their arm and they said, all right, you know what? If y'all can sell whatever you have, because as long as they keep on selling, you know, they're gonna stay alive. If not, we don't, you know, of course, nobody wants any business to shut down. Yeah, no, and that's true. I mean, that is, who would have thought 2-3 months ago you have a margarita to go, you know, that, and that's awesome. You know, a margarita, a beer, whatever your poison is, but that is just really, really cool that the public can go out there and order alcoholic drinks, you know, especially right now. You need something to take the edge off. So that's really, who's not gonna want some wings with a beer? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you kill two birds with one stone. Yeah, plus it puts up those ticket sales as well. You know, it's a win-win for everybody. You know, those ticket sales go up, and your customer is happy, nice and full and content, right, with a nice beer and some wings. That's really cool. For the restaurant, it also keeps their inventory moving, because if not, it's just gonna stay there. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. You're right. It is important to put that out there. I know I reached out to several restaurants, and that's one of the biggest concerns that was early on. And of course, having that limited menu helps with that aspect, you know, having to turn those things out there. Sorry, your inventory. That's really important to keep rotating it, not so still. Very cool, man. Well, I mean, again, thank you, Juan, for spending some time to talk with us and you know, letting us know more about your business, how it works. And not only that, but also how you guys have marketed and branded yourselves. You know, I earlier talked about, you know, your little small company, your little startup. I know you guys consider it that way. We're always our worst critics, but honestly, from the outside looking in, you guys have done a phenomenal job of pushing that brand, and not let me rephrase that, of elevating that brand into making it look something more than just local, or more like, I hate to say it like this, but more than just Laredo, you know. You know, it definitely is a brand that can definitely, you know, go forward and without, you know, without making it look cheap. And you guys have done a really, really good, excellent job of that. So hats off for that, man. We thank you. We've had a great team. We've had a great team that has helped with every single aspect, starting from, of course, Eli with the vision, and our help with the marketing team, the graphic designer, and our employees that have helped us out with making sure that all the restaurants have flyers, that everybody has a sticker, and coming up with ideas. Everybody hasn't been an essential part, and of course, needless to say, our drivers, that if it wasn't for them, you know, we wouldn't be a success right now, and we wouldn't be where we're at. So it definitely has been a team effort, and everybody's put in their 2 cents, and we're killing it. We're hustling it every day. That's awesome, man. Well, it was great talking to you, and again, keep hustling and stay safe out there. Thank you so much, Rick. Likewise, and everybody, all the restaurants that hopefully have were able to, that this was helpful for them. If they, of course, we welcome them to reach out to us if they want that extra channel of income, and if there's anything else that we can help them, we're all ears. And great things coming, man. This is awesome. Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, thank you for joining us for ProValueMedia's Market Like a Pro series. Today we have a special treat for you. My name is Ric Cruz Jr., your digital and print marketing partner, and I will be your moderator for today.
As I mentioned, today we have a special treat for you. We reached out to talk to one of our favorite bakeries and restaurants to speak to them about how they quickly adjusted during these uncertain times. Today's guest is Amanda Montoya of Cakeland and Bolillos restaurants. She has been working alongside her family of 3 generations to bring you some of the best tasting cakes, sweetbreads, and favorite dishes like their famous enchiladas callejeras and chicken poblano, just to name a few. Man, I'm hungry now. But first, let's talk to Amanda. Amanda, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Rick.
Good, good. And I know we've been talking the last couple of weeks and seeing how everything is going. And one of the things I wanted to reach out to you was because you guys have had to pivot a lot lately with all these uncertain times. And I guess we want to break it down first with Cakeland first, right? With Cakeland, you've had to obviously reduce your hours and do other various things to accommodate that, accommodate the new business model of to go and pick up. And if you don't mind sharing with us some steps that you've taken for this pivot.
Yeah, so it started obviously the day the city mandated the no more than 10 people inside a building. So our operation is, you can't control who goes in and who goes out unless you have somebody standing at the door, right? And that's very difficult for us because, you know, birthdays always happen and those things still need to get celebrated. And it was one of those things where we had to close down for a bit, regroup, figure out what was the best way moving forward, not just because of the whole business operation, but also because of the virus. It was very difficult to understand what was going on because every single hour it felt like something new or more shocking. And, you know, thankfully I have my grandparents and my parents around because they've gone through a couple of waves, you know, with recessions and all these other things, but never something like this. So it was something for all of us to adjust to. And so basically we closed, I can't even remember what day we are anymore, but we closed at some point when the city first said, you know, no more than 10 people. And then we had been forwarding the calls to one of our cell phones and everybody was still trying to order cakes. And it was, we would take orders of cakes that we had already had in stock that we hadn't sold because it was maybe like a 2 to 3 day window that, you know, okay, well, we can have those that we always have ready. And then we just said, okay, let's try and figure out what's the best way forward. And when we sat down, we said, okay, no more than 3 employees that we can have at the bakery. Obviously, for that to happen, our hours would have to change and be reduced significantly. We're usually open at 7 in the morning, close at 9 in the evening. So we ended up just doing 10 to 5 because we figured that's a good enough, 8 hours? More or less.
8-hour workday, more or less.
Cover, you know, a nice little window. And we're doing strictly phone and online ordering to protect our employees because we can't control who we're dealing with, right? And at this point, we don't know who's infected or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My priority was the health of my family and my employees. And that's basically what we use to get us through all of this, to make sure we put people first and then everything else kind of comes along with it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because that is super important that you said people first. You know, that's pretty much a priority for everyone to make sure that everyone is safe.
Right.
And you know, in the past few weeks when I was talking to you, one of the things I was really surprised with that you were telling me was that you guys have been not only having a pivot, but I was really surprised how you guys are still putting out cakes, that people are still celebrating cakes and their birthdays and stuff. And even though we're in this in shelter quarantine life, families are still celebrating their cakes, just not the big cakes that they're used to, the smaller ones, right? And that's something that was pretty amazing that you know, life is still going on, you know, even though this is happening. And that's super important, like to maintain that.
And I think everybody's looking for something good to celebrate or good to happen, and any little change in the household where you can just get a little wave of positive energy, you know, in a cake. I think you can find that in a celebration, in a birthday. I mean, I'm definitely tired of cooking at home. So anything from the outside in is like welcome, and especially when it's, you know, a birthday or a special occasion. We just did a coronavirus cake today. I just posted it actually. So just when you think you've seen it all, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, yeah, and it's right. I mean, you're having to make designs for the time. You know, as funny as they can be. You know, for some people, obviously, people take it a little more serious, but it's important to laugh. You know.
Yeah, I
So,
know. I mean, it's hard. I know it's so hard on everybody. Everybody's stress levels are just fluctuating all day, really, and you have to laugh at something like that. When we got the order from the customer, I was just like, really? That's so funny. Like that people are laughing about it. Obviously, I know there's a lot of pain tied to it, but I mean, it's you have to just stay conscious of you know, just the situation.
yeah, and that is super important. Right now, you mentioned that the way you guys are ordering, that's something that's super important too, because I brought up this. Right now, we're on your Instagram profile that we have all these little, making me hungry again with my sweet tooth. Looking at all these cool things here. But anyways, I was gonna go double back here to your ordering form. Basically, you guys made it a little, try to simplify the way customers can get a hold of you, because obviously people can't walk up to your store, like you mentioned. You know, nobody can walk in. So there's basically 3 ways to order here, and basically, I'm not sure if you want to go over those options for us.
So obviously, our phone ordering is for the people who feel more comfortable speaking to somebody. That's, you know, essential. We have the Cake Land number up there. That's our Saunders location. By the way, that's the only location where we do curbside for Cake Land, and where we also work out of and deliver, because we're offering free delivery right now as well.
That's amazing. Wow, free delivery for cakes. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, people, we don't really want them to get out, so we'll kind of just go leave it at the doorstep, text and say, hey, your cake is outside, you know. So anyway, yeah, that's one way. The other way is Facebook Messenger. A lot of people, because of Facebook, the accessibility to it, and pretty much everybody in the world has a Facebook account, they can just send a message. Somebody will be with them within, you know, 5-10 minutes, depending on how busy they are at the moment. And then we have an online chat that comes out on our website. When you go onto our website, there's like a bottom button that says, let's chat, that one. And you can basically type in a message, and somebody's behind the website. Our IT person is behind the website, and they
I'll wait for somebody that actually needs it.
It's actually me, and my phone is not with me because I was afraid that that it would ring. So
no, just
not get a message right away.
No worries. Just showing people where the button is, just in case they're looking for it.
And lastly, we also have Zoom appointments. So some people are still actually planning weddings and, you know, postponing weddings and stuff like that. So those are a lot more personal. You want to meet with a client and face to face and really try and get ideas. And we try basically the way we're doing it right now. And anything that's a lot bigger, a lot more personal for the future, because right now we're basically only putting out little round cakes, and that's what we can do. But you know, in order to continue to keep that contact with our clients, that's another way that we've been able to you know, personalize it a little bit more.
No, and that's awesome. I know that's something that most businesses, including ourselves, have started doing ourselves. Like right now on this Zoom call, that it's just been very important for everyone to have that, to maintain that face-to-face contact. I mean, not everyone can do it over the phone or by emails. So having that face-to-face contact does definitely help. You know, you can share your screen, you can point at stuff and make things a little easier that way without having to leave your home. Yes. So that's really, really cool that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, it's been one of the things that we've been trying to do for the past year, and times like this force you to do something like that. You know, it's because honestly, a lot of things happen through social media and everything within the past, you know, 5-10 years. And then there's just never time to focus on these things. And all of a sudden you found the time within 3 to 4 days to make this all happen. And that's where we are right now. So.
And that's so true. That's something I've said it a couple of times, not on here, but I've said it a couple of times to different friends and clients that they ask me, are you busy? And I'm like, well, you know, certain parts of our business has been reduced to, you know, a lot less, significantly less than what it was before. but other parts of business have actually have this hyper acceleration that we need to work. And so people are like, well, why are you still working? And I was like, well, most of us here at the office still have to work because number one, it has accelerated that digital part of our business where, like you said, we've had to do things for clients like on the fly, 2-3 days, online ordering in 2-3 days, and or changes to websites or social media. And you're absolutely right. This pandemic has forced us into doing things much, much faster than we originally thought. We had clients that reached out to us that said, hey, we were thinking about it, and now we got to get on it because, yeah, it happens. It happens. Life. We're always busy before all this happened, and we were always busy when just had other things going on. But all of a sudden, when those things slow down, it's like things become a little more clear about what you need to do, right? And I'm not talking about just business, but other stuff in general. You have more time to reflect and think about what you need to be doing. So that's awesome that you guys, had that opportunity to step back. I know most businesses that I did did not know what to do. And in some cases, my advice was like, well, why don't you shut down for a couple of days? I know you might not want to do it, but in some cases you need to.
It allows you to
step back.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to us. I think we were closed max 4 days. I think we closed on a Thursday. We reopened on a Monday for Cakeland. But because we have both businesses going, which is Bolillos, another, pretty big operation, and then we have Cakeland, and it was hard to just figure out how to move forward with both of them. And for me, the easier one was Cakeland, because it was just a little clearer of what people needed at the time. So I was able to just focus on that and execute that one. Once that started rolling on Monday, then I was able to focus on Bolillos and figure out how to move forward with that one. And we reopened this past Monday, yesterday, right? What day are we? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Monday. We opened yesterday. And so it took me about a week and a half to figure that one out, just because it's also, another operation that we had to completely reduce,
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to everything. And that's why it's important, like I said, to take that pause, to have that pause button and see how you will do these things, because if not, it's just you might overwhelm yourself. That's awesome that you guys have been able to do that. That's really neat. One thing I wanted to mention about Cakeland, you guys are coming up in a very awesome milestone that not very many people can claim. You guys are coming up on your 50th anniversary, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was just told that this past January, my grandparents, I think Cakeland's anniversary is probably about January 27th or 29th. I don't remember clearly, but and they were telling me, this is our 49th year in business. Next year will be our 50th. And I thought that I kind of took a step back because I didn't realize it was that long. I mean, obviously I haven't been around the whole time, right? But they have. That's kind of what it's a huge accomplishment. And obviously, I think, the story, we started with Retama, ended up with Cakeland, and then added Bolillos. But it's been, the same ownership throughout the three, operations. So
that's amazing. 5-0 for everyone who misheard that. 5-0. That's wow. That's amazing. Yeah. Congratulations for you and your family.
Thanks.
Really neat.
My family, because honestly, I just came around the past 10 years. I mean, they're the ones that pretty much set the foundation. So can't take all of it.
You're being too humble. But we like that. It's good. So that's Cakeland in a nutshell for you guys. And now let's talk about Bolillos. Bolillos Cafe, like you mentioned, it was something very similar that you guys needed to step back, and now your guys are back in full force with a more easier menu for your kitchen and reduced and pretty much I'm assuming most of your favorites. Is that kind of what's going on right now?
Yeah, so that's basically what we have a large menu, and I think that's what attracts a lot of people to us, that we can pretty much please any palate. And one of the downfalls to it is when you have a pandemic, I guess, you don't have as many people coming into the door. So what we did, we kind of looked at our best sellers, went with our top 20 plates roughly. We have a full breakfast menu because that I know is difficult to reduce, and it was easy to have inventories for that compared to the lunch and the dinner. The dinner has different sauces, different things that it's hard to calculate, the amount of produce and things that we would be using. So we basically reduced it to the top 15, 20 plates, more or less. There it is. And we have a full breakfast menu. So it's still a good variety. It has some salads, it has some Mexican food, it has some comfort food, some soups. And, as we see the week go by, what people are ordering or what people are asking for, we plan to add a little bit to it, just depending on how we see, the week unfold. And I think people right now are understanding of the situation for everybody, that we can get away with it. I don't know that we could get away with it during any other time of the year.
Yeah.
But because, we pride ourselves on that. We pride ourselves on consistency and things like that. And I think that's very difficult for me to accept right now, that we've reduced our menu, but we know that's the right way moving forward for now.
Yeah, and I'm glad you guys stayed open or reopened, and the other thing is I'm glad you still have my favorites, so those are still available there, so I can still order from there. So that's a good thing. That's always a good thing. And same thing with here. You also have like I have on the screen here. You have a different hours that you have, and you can do phone orders, and you can also doing Facebook orders as well. Is that correct?
I haven't gotten to the Facebook, but I probably will. I get the messages anyway, so I'm pretty sure I can respond to anybody. We added our online ordering, which is with you through the Bolillos website that we launched yesterday as well. And that's why it was like last week we were on conversations like, okay, Rick, when can I have it?
Yeah, no, and like I said,
sorry for the pressure, but it's
good. It's good.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're used to this pressure. I feel like we've all been on running at 110% since everything started. It just feels like here's more. And it's like, okay, yeah, why not? It'll keep me busy, and I prefer to be busy than worrying about what are we going to do. And it's just it's keeping busy is important. So that's really neat. I'm glad that you guys were able to do that, and I know thank you again for doing that with us as well, giving us that opportunity to do that. Basically, online you can order, like you mentioned, all your favorites on here, and you're able to do most of your favorites are going to be here as far as what you can order in here. So I really love that you can do that, and you can see that with any desktop or mobile or pretty much any desktop or mobile application that you're looking for. You just go to your website, which is we'll go to that in a bit towards the end. Very cool. And I also wanted to mention something else. While we're on the subject, this is a marketing and branding show at the, and one thing I wanted to mention is your marketing and branding that you guys have done. So you mentioned that Bolillos has been around since around 2006, 2008, more or less. Yeah. And at that time, you guys had a very, very different logo. And more recently, you guys felt, well, we need to start updating it. And that's something that was really is tough for any business to have a logo for that long and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and rebrand everything now. And what's that going to look like and stuff like that. And most businesses just don't change, and it is important to have some tie to the past, to the old logo, but at the same time, still something a little more recent, a little more modern and polished, I guess is what the word I'm looking for. And you guys did a pretty good job of that, using this new logo that you guys have compared to the one that you guys had before. The other one was nice, but you can tell that this is more recent. And if you don't mind me telling me, like, what that process looked like for you when you guys were in talks of rebranding of this logo, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I felt that one of the things that we could work on, and one of, I think, the recipes for success of our family business has been to evolve and trying to stay current with our, as things change, right? I think, I think the previous logo was there, but this is pretty much our new logo and our new branding style. And I like with Bolillos, there's a masculinity and a femininity to it. And I think that's one of the things that has kind of guided my vision for it. And I think that's kind of why it resonates with both, you know, male and female, because you don't, yes, there's pink in it, but there's also the reds and the blues and all this other stuff. And it's also like a tie to our culture. I think, you know, we are, you walk in, you want to feel welcomed, you want to feel around, like what colors make you feel sometimes. It kind of reflects, I don't know, the whole experience, from your food to your, you know,
It does.
and your ambiance and all that stuff. So I try and tie it all together. I mean, there was times where, you know, I was lost a little bit with design. I just kind of was focusing more on other things. And I finally had the time last year to say, okay, let me refocus on our branding and our, you know, moving forward. That's our old logo, right?
Yeah, let me go
yeah.
ahead and pull that up just so everyone can have a little reference of what it used to look like and now the new logo, so people
Yeah.
can see.
I mean, we'll get around to like signage and stuff eventually. I mean, it all depends how this pandemic's gonna go, but
Yeah.
right now, at least for social media and stuff and our websites, we're kind of using, you know, this logo for our current 2020, you know, way forward.
Yeah, no, and that's understandable. I mean, obviously, when one thing we want to mention to anybody out there that's going to rebrand, yes, there are these steps that you need to retake and think about, like you said, and start doing this. But and after that, yeah, you start rolling out the things, and the way to do that is roll out the things that are the easiest first. In this case, social media, anything that's digital, that's not tied to anything that's printed or tangible, right? And after that, you can focus on those things slowly. So. For anybody out there thinking about rebranding, you don't need to do it all at once. You know,
Yeah.
if you can, great, but you don't need to do it that way. And you can tell, back to what you were saying about the thought that you guys put into this logo. Yes, you're right. You absolutely did have that. Whoopsies.
Okay.
My gosh, there you go.
There you
So
go.
you guys absolutely did a really good job of tying in that masculine and femininity, but also bringing that Mexican folk authentic colors and using those type of designs that go very well with this new logo that you guys are using. So again, really good job on that.
Thank you.
I think there'll be a nice opportunity to do other things with that as the year goes on, once things clear up. You know, you mentioned
Yeah.
that. I know with Cakeland, you guys also do a really good job of doing that. You guys added this extra new vertical logo that looks really, really nice, complemented to different products that you guys have, and you guys are very started using that type of stuff on your packaging, which is again goes back to branding. You know, every time your cakes and cookies and sweetbreads and all that stuff go out, there's always a logo attached to it to make sure that not where it came from, but it just you want to make sure that it's very iconic. And this new vertical logo that you guys are using is very, very loud, and I love it. You know, it looks really, really nice. I know we used it a couple of times in some of your print projects, and it looks really nice. It grabs your attention and tells you what it is. It's in your face. I love it. It's really cool.
And it's not confusing. I mean, I think the straight lines that they use with the wording, it helps. I think you could tell that it says Cakeland. It's not something that is confusing. So I was pretty excited to use that one too.
Yeah, it is. It really is pretty neat. Very cool. And one last thing, I know you mentioned it and we touched about it already, about the importance of staying positive during this time. What have you been doing to stay positive? I know.
I've been home, honestly. I have two kids, 5 and 2. She's 5, one's 5, one's 2. And honestly, they don't allow me to focus too much on the negativity, and they really balance out my day. You know, when you think that the world is going to end and you don't know how far this is, you know, real quick, there's a mom, you know, and I'm just, get tied away. But honestly, I've been really, really thankful and just reflective of what we do have, and trying to focus on what we do have versus what we don't have, and staying present. Because, you know, you start thinking about future and all this stuff, and that's something you can't control. And this pandemic is something you can't control. The only thing you can do, like everybody says, is stay home. And honestly, for so many years already, I've been praying for more time at home with my kids, and I finally have it.
You got it.
It's not, I know, it's not in the exact terms. I should have, like, you know, really set visual, like, okay, no, I don't want this, but I want this. And, you know, I got it all at once. And it's fine. I mean, I think, honestly, it's just staying present is going to be the most, the only thing you can control, you know, and other than that, my terms, I let go, let God. And that's pretty much where we stand. I'm pretty religious about, certain situations, well, not certain situations, everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is one of the times that you just have to really let go, let God. So
focus on whatever faith you're practicing or whatever it is that gets you through it. But it's important to fall back on that, especially during this time. But that's awesome. Again, thank you so much for coming out. I did want to mention, we talked about this earlier, that yes, this pandemic has caused all this new life adjustments that we've done. And one of the main silver linings that we have, like you said, is now you have that time. But another one of those silver linings is that, it has brought us closer in more ways than we thought. Like you mentioned, you've talked to other restaurateurs and reached out to them to see what they're doing. And they've given you that feedback as well. And that's really cool. It's bringing our community closer in more ways than we thought because of that, and I'm not sure if you wanted to add to anything like that, like I said, that it's...
Yeah, I was telling you earlier that I feel that during these times, there has been just an outpouring of support from everybody, from clients to other restaurateurs, my neighbor from Lolita's. We've been pretty much in touch almost every day just because, you really just need someone to fall back on, and everybody's going through the same situation. At this point, we're just operating day to day, trying to figure out how long this is going to last, even though it's something you can't control. And hopefully, hey, this is working for me, try this, little things like that, not just from restaurateurs, but people in other lines of business. And I think that, any advice you can get or any different outlook you can get will help you ultimately reach a decision that's right for you. Once you have time to, because everybody has time now, once you have time to really process what's going on. And, it's been a blessing in a way, because it's brought so many people closer, and, very thankful for that.
No, that's good. And again, I'm glad you guys are doing well and back in business. So that's awesome. That's really, really good. And again, thank you again for spending some time with us, because I know you're really busy running 2 different operations plus being a mom. So that's a lot to handle.
Now apparently I'm a teacher too, because
that's right.
That's another title you can add to my...
That's true. Here's another hat, another feather for your hat. So that's really cool. No, again, thank you again for your time, and we'll be talking very soon.
Sounds good. Catch you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us for ProValueMedia's Market Like a Pro series. My name is Joe Relas, your friendly neighborhood graphic engineer, and I'll be your moderator for today. Today we have a special treat for you. Joining us today is ProValueMedia's own Digital and Print Marketing Director, Ric Cruz Jr. How are you doing today, Mr. Rick?
Good. Talking to you from my office while you're in your office, but we're here practicing social distancing. So we're here. We're good.
Absolutely. You got your mask?
I do. I have it here. I took it off for this special occasion for you guys, but yes, I do have a mask. I have to keep practicing social distancing. Super important.
Absolutely. All right. So from my understanding, you're going to go over some different topics today. What kind of topics are we going to touch upon today?
Great question. We have a lot of information we got to go through, you guys. But first of all, let me go ahead and share the screen. That way everyone can see this. Let me see if you guys can see that.
Awesome.
Perfect. Okie doke. So today's topic is, it's about the obvious, what we talked about. It's restaurant print and digital marketing. And we have a lot of things to talk to you guys about restaurants. I mean, obviously we do a lot of different things for restaurants. We offer printing and direct mail and postcards and menus. But the big thing that everyone is talking about right now during this, COVID-19 situation that everyone is in is talking about to-go menus, the hot things that everyone is looking for right now. Obviously, because dining rooms are closed, some of the things that we're focusing more on right now are, branding different products like your to-go bags. One of the things that we offer restaurants is stickers for their bags. That way, when their bags are not just so plain, they can actually have a custom branded bag that looks really, really good. And that's something that's been super important to maintain that brand. Even though we're going through this crisis, it's still important to know that you guys are still out there. So that's something that's super important, the stickers. The next thing that goes with that.
I apologize. And that would be for like the to-go things, all the people that are doing the curbside delivery and things like that?
That's correct. So basically, as you know, when someone gives a bag out, let's take McDonald's, for example. On McDonald's, the bags are branded. Now, I know most restaurants to have branded bags like that, or would cost a pretty penny. So in lieu of that, what we're doing is, we're putting stickers on the bags or even on the plates. So that way, when they open up the plate, they can see that it's a sticker from ProValueMedia, or in this case, a sticker from your restaurant. And that's kind of the idea that you need to be showing out there, again, continuing that brand. And again, the other thing that goes with that, something that goes very well with that would be your to-go menus.
And what sort of like information do you need from most clients when doing these to-go menus or the labels or whatever it may be?
Great question. So when it comes to menus, it's really, really simple. And it's something that we're recommending to all restaurants. Obviously, because of what's going on at the moment, we don't recommend you putting your full menu because you're probably not going to be able to accommodate your customers with that full menu. So to start off with, we would need your logo. Second from there, if you have any pictures, send them all to us. The second part would be basically anything having to do with the plates that you're selling, whether it being a special, a parrillada, some type of family platter, or whatever it may be. But basically, those are the things that we need to start off with. And of course, the most important thing that we need and that we need when it comes to the menus is your contact information. So it might seem very obvious, but you'll be surprised more often than not how people sometimes overlook to put things like a contact number. It's happened several times where we receive some, as you know, you receive some files and you're ready to go to print and you realize that, hey, there's no phone number. Like
no phone number, no address, whatever the case may be. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So before printing, and I don't have to tell everybody else, but because you know this, but I'll let everyone else who doesn't know, is that yes, you definitely need to check that artwork before you print it out, especially because, well, again, how they're going to call you if they don't know who it's from, number one, and where they're going to call. So to-go menus are super important right now. The second thing that we also offer right now is because of this, even before this, we've always done things really, really fast. So once the artwork is approved, we can have things ready for you guys pretty much same day, if not next day, which is really, really neat because, again, right now things are changing so fast and you need these things to be able to market yourself properly.
We all know that during this new quarantine period that the fastest way to get your message out is through digital marketing or pretty much any other social media platform. What would you add to that for your clients? Good
question. And Joe, you know this, that we offer social media management right now for any clients. Now, social media right now is very, very crucial right now to get out there. If restaurants are not on there right now, I encourage you to start that page and start putting out something in there to let your audience know that you're still around, let them know what your hours are. It's super important to start. And so social media is very crucial right now. Now, you don't have to start perfect. I mean, the first thing you start will not be perfect, but as you go along, you will get better with it. So the important thing right now is to start with social media. Now, we do offer social media services. And like I mentioned to you, it is very, very important what we do. And what we do when it comes to social media is pretty much we can go in there and help you manage the account, generate content for you guys. You guys get an account executive, and that account executive is going to pretty much be with you that time while they're talking about what you need. So the important thing here is having communication with the customer, letting them know that this is what's going to happen. Or when they tell you, hey, this is what you need, that guys can put it out quickly, especially in times like this, because it happened during this crisis started happening where our clients were calling us and letting us know, hey, you got to put this menu up now, take off this menu and put this menu up because we're not offering that right now. Or, you know what, change your store hours. And again, this just goes back to our earlier point that it's super important to be on social media, to have that message out there of letting your customers know, because they might think that you're open because, whatever might be the case, but the reality is that you might be closing a little earlier or even opening up, staying out later, and your customers need to know that. The last thing you want to be doing is waiting at the restaurant, waiting for the phone to ring when nobody knows that you're there or not there, so that's super, super important, go ahead.
And if I may ask, what would be like the best social media platforms that the clients can use? What would be the best target media platforms?
That's a great question, and it honestly, it really depends on the industry. But in this case, we're talking about restaurants. So the two go-to platforms that I would recommend for this would be number one is Facebook. It is the largest network out there, social media platform that's out there. And the second would be Instagram. Instagram is really, really hot. They do work differently, but I would recommend starting with whatever you have first. If you're used to using Instagram first, start with that one. If you're used going Facebook, use Facebook. There is other platforms like Twitter and TikTok and Snapchat. And don't get me wrong, those apps definitely work. But if you're not using them right now, I would not recommend starting to use them at the moment, unless you already mastered the other two platforms. So definitely Facebook and Instagram to answer your question. Sorry, ran a little long there, but yeah, Facebook and Instagram, that would be the best ones to start with.
Okay, and what kind of services would a company such as ProValueMedia assist with in placing things on social media? Good
question. So it goes back to what I mentioned to you. It's a matter of talking to the restaurant and letting them know or asking them what it is that you're going to be doing, whether it be specials or links to online ordering, or even just a quick thank you or a quick notice saying that we're open or that we're delivering. In some cases, during other times, we would use them also for recruitment. So anytime you wanted to put a now hiring ad, we would post those things for the restaurant to be able to hire waiters or delivery drivers or something like that. And I'm sure that's something that's going to be continuing to be a big role later on. But yeah, there's different things that we can do. It just really depends on what the client's objective is.
Awesome. All right, so the hot topic right now is online ordering, which has been very crucial for all restaurants during this new era of staying at home. How would you expand on that for our viewers?
Great question. It definitely is a loaded question, but I can definitely tackle that for you. So as you mentioned, yes, because of this quarantine and stay-at-home ordinance that we have, restaurants are obviously limited to their capacity to put out orders. So they no longer can have customers dining in, as everybody knows. So in lieu of that, everyone to pretty much pivot and keep going and operating is using different things like to go and pick up. And now you can only get so far with a phone line. Eventually you will get to a point where you're just saturated with phone calls and you won't be able to get them all. Hopefully you're in that position that you have way too many phone calls and you need an extra line or something like that. But the other alternative to go there would be going through your own online ordering website. Now, we have online ordering service that allows you to use your own website to put your own menu on there. And basically, you won't need any app or anything like that. All you need is just basically, your mobile phone, which everybody has pretty much, and with that mobile phone, basically that's all they need. But the good thing about this is that the online ordering is you don't need an app. You're going to use your website and any device, a tablet, a desktop, a mobile phone. You just tell them, hey, go to myrestaurant.com, whatever that may be. And then after that, that's it. It's pretty simple. So that's pretty much how it is. I mean, as far as how it works, honestly, it is as simple as it sounds. A customer will visit your website, and after that, they'll place an order online. And from there on, basically, it'll pop up. You'll get a notification on your end, on the restaurant end, that an order's been placed. The money gets deposited into your account the next day, and that's it. Everyone's happy, So there is an option in there so that people can either select pickup or delivery, depending on if you offer delivery. I know most restaurants at the moment are offering that free delivery option, but again, that's totally up to you. But it really is that simple. I mean, it's just, we recommend starting off with a smaller menu to get started first, and then after that, we can expand onto something a little larger.
Okay, and by smaller menu, do you mean like 10 items? Would that be a fair amount of items?
10 items, we don't have to limit it to 10, but 10 is a good number to start with.
Okay.
We know some menus can be very, very big, but like as I mentioned before, right now is definitely the time to trim down that menu and focus on your best sellers. Focus on your best sellers, which are going to sell the most or the fastest, and also using larger family portions. That's where I see most restaurants, and talking to all these restaurants that we our clients and friends that we have. Pretty much that's what we're seeing, that everyone is going with larger portions. Of course, there is an exception to the rule. There are some clients that are doing better than others. Some restaurants are doing better than others. But I would start off with a smaller, more limited menu. 10's a good starting point. More than 20, I think, would be a little pushing it. But, I mean, that's something we can accommodate, absolutely.
Yeah, and earlier you did mention that no app was needed. By that, I just want to expand on that for our viewers, that by no app, that means your customers can just go to the website and check out your menu and then order through there. The customers do not need to download any app to their phone to use this. On your end, though, you would have that app. Is that correct?
As a matter of fact, thank you for clarifying that, because you're right. Your customers do not need an app. All they do need to do is go into the website. However, on the back end, the restaurant end, you will need an app to basically see the online order coming in. And we provide a tablet for that, or you can download it on your phone, whichever is easier for you guys. But we have found that having that second mobile device acts as a backup for just in case something else is not paying attention or someone else is busy. So we encourage, the restaurant to install it on several devices just so that they can have that extra backup. But as a courtesy, what we do also when the first order comes in is we also give them a call to make sure that they know that they have an app, that they have an order in place. It does happen that we know everyone gets busy and you might overlook it.
Oh, awesome. All right, and Rick, we do get asked this question quite often by our clients, and that is if they already have an internal POS, point of sale system at their business, can you integrate the online ordering to that system?
That's a very good question, and you're absolutely right. That happens, that they ask us that question a lot. And the short answer is yes, we can integrate, but it depends on the different, on the equipment that you have already. Currently, we offer integration only right now for people that are using Clover, Square, or Shopify POSs. If you have those POSs right now in your store, you're eligible to go into online ordering. And actually, because of you have those POSs, we're able to launch your website and your online ordering system a lot faster than we would when we're building it from scratch. And part of the reason is because those systems already have that service already integrated. It's just a matter of enabling it, and then we'll take care of the rest. We'll grab that code and embed it into your website. So again, this is just nerd talking, but still, we'll get that code and embed it into your website so that you won't have to worry about it. And the good thing about using your own POS, if you have a Clover system, is that when you update things on your POS, it'll automatically get updated to your website. So you don't have to worry about having to manage two different menus or prices, if you will. So all you have to worry about is updating it once, and after that, anything on your website will reflect there. So again, Shopify, Square, and Clover, those are the three platforms that we can currently integrate to. But if you don't have those, again, the solution that we talked about earlier is a perfect offline solution that we offer. That offline solution, like I mentioned, it would be very similar to someone phoning it in. If someone would phone it in, what you would do next is go to your POS and you type in and you punch in what they ordered over the phone. So if you don't have one of those systems, you can still do that. One thing I wanted to touch on that's super important right now is that right now I think restaurants need every available channel possible, whether it being an app or an online ordering or using social media or Facebook or anything like that. And it's important to figure out where your customers are, because you just don't know right now. Right now, yes, they can reach you through the phone, but like I mentioned to you earlier, if there is no social media or any contact, let them know that you guys are open, or even a banner for outside to say, hey, we're open, our drive-thru is open, call it in, visit our website. If there is no communication, they won't know to call you. And that's going to be problem number one, right? So that, I think, is probably one of the first things that I would mention is again, you need to communicate to your customers what you're doing, if you're staying open, what your menu is, and what your hours are. To
show some sort of presence.
Exactly. You've heard that old quote, you know, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, did it really fall? And I think it applies perfectly here. You know, just because you're doing all these specials and all this effort that you're putting into it, if you don't tell anybody about it, it's all for nothing.
And one question we get asked quite a lot from our customers is exactly how fast would it take to build a whole website for the client?
Wow, that really depends. And it depends on a lot of things, but to be honest, if we have all the information that we need, you know, we do have an onboarding process that we have, but if we have all the information that we need, we can launch it in about 3 to 4 business days. Sometimes even further, like I mentioned, if you already have a certain POSs, a Clover or a Square, we can definitely launch it much faster than that. But on average, about 3 to 4 business days. Again, we recommend starting off with a small menu, just to the smaller the better, so we can launch faster for you guys. And as the months keep going, or the days keep going, later on we can slowly start adding more and more items to it.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, and Rick, for all our customers out there, as you may know, like you touched upon it earlier, knowing where you're located and contact information is very important. So what would you tell the customer about that?
Great question. I just put it on the screen for everybody to see, but just in case you can't see, maybe because it might be too small, it might be on your mobile devices or whatever it may be. But the fastest way is obviously by phone. You can reach us 723-0224. But we're also available on Facebook. We're also on Instagram and on LinkedIn. So you can feel free to message us there. Pretty much just drop us a line. We can schedule a phone call or even a Zoom conference. That Zoom conference is something that we've been doing a lot because we can do it pretty much at any time. And I know that everyone's going to have questions, and it's important to know, having that face-to-face interaction, to know what those questions, so I can answer those questions for you guys, whatever they may be. And it's a quick 5-10 minute phone call to see what it is that you guys need to get started. And after that, I can, you know, tell you more or less how long it's going to take, more or less. But for the most part, like I mentioned, it's something that you can give us a call whenever you guys have the time for it. Again, the number is 956-723-0224. You can also email us at info@provaluemedia.com. But yeah, pretty much just give us a call whenever you guys are ready.
All right, and thank you very much for sharing that information. And you know, right now, during these times of quarantine and staying at home, I know a lot of people aren't going out, but just to let you know, the office is still open, just limited hours, from 10 to 6.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. We are available from 10 to 6. Our lobby is currently semi-open. No, it is open, but it's by appointment. So if you are going to come in, just let us know. That we can be expecting you, number one. And of course, we'll have that hand sanitizer ready for you guys, so you guys can come in and we can sit down and talk.
Awesome. Thank you.
No, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Rick, for taking the time to sit down with us and talk to us regarding everything. Just really quickly, do you have any other last words of wisdom for us?
Sure. Some things I'd like to mention, like I mentioned before, it's important to get started right now. If you haven't already, get started, whether that means start working on a new menu or taking some time to step back and look at what you need to do to launch, you know, whatever it may be, whether it being a delivery service, a brand new family platter menu, or just a whole brand new online website with an online ordering capabilities. Those things do take time, and it's important to just kind of step back and see what it is that you guys currently have in place, so that you can see what you need to launch the next step, whatever it may be. It's important. Like I mentioned, it can happen that you already may be equipped for some of these things. It's just a matter of enabling a service or something like that. Now, a lot of these services, some of these services, example, you might be able to do it yourself. And if you need help with that, let me know. I mean, we understand that some people might want to take it upon themselves to do it, and by all means do so. The important thing here is to get started doing something. We're all in this together. So if you use our services, great. And if you don't, at least now that there is a path to get started on this. So online ordering is within reach.
Awesome. Again, thank you very much. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.